Being the bearer of Allah's deen, Jews were the ones to bring submerged in the quagmire of sins. Their long history was replete with heinous acts. They were too sinful to bring about any reforms. They martyred a number of prophets sent by Allah for their reformation. They were of the view that they had a special relationship with Allah, and He would not chastise them due to this relation. They used to regard all heavenly blessings as their fundamental rights. For them, prophecy was their inherited legacy. The Jewish scholars were worldly people, and they were enjoying its delicacies. They used to amend the religious laws day in and day out to please the elites and rulers. They used to follow only those divine laws which they found easy, and abandon the rest. They used to engage in bickering. Greed had overpowered them so much that they never used to do anything that may have any adverse effect on their wealth or lives. Their moral condition was worse. Polytheistic idolatry had made inroads among their beliefs. Witchcraft, superstitions, amulets, sorcery, and evil practices had tarnished the real concept of Tawheed. When the Holy Prophet presented before them the clear concept of Tawheed, the Jews crossed all limits and said, the polytheists of Arabia were better than these Muslims. Let's have a glance over Arabia, the land from where the Holy Prophet launched his movement and underwent all kinds of miseries and hardships. A major part of Arabia, that is, the valley of Qura-Khyber and Fadk, were inhabited by the Jews. They were at the helm of power in Medina as well. The rest of Arabia was engaged in polytheistic activities. They used to worship trees, idols, stones, stars, angels, and jinns, even though the concept of one God was there and they used to regard him as the greatest of gods. But this belief had become so faint that they continued worshipping the smaller gods. They were of the view that their day-to-day problems were solved by these deities. So, they were mostly engaged in offering sacrifices and votive offerings before these deities. They used to take solemn pledges in the names of these deities. They used to think that they could please Allah by pleasing these smaller gods. These people used to regard the angels as the daughters of Allah and the jinns as close relatives of Allah and partners in divinity. They used to seek their help. They had carved out idols of these partners in divinity and used to worship them. If they found a beautiful stone, they would start worshipping it. If they didn't get anything, they would make a mound of clay, sprinkle goat milk over it, and an idol was ready. There were innumerable idols in Arabia. They used to worship stars as well. Among stars, they used to prefer the sun and moon. Jinns and ghosts were also worshipped. Several tales were prevalent about them. All polytheistic superstitions were there in Arabia. Along with these religious distortions, infightings were also common. Trifle issues used to result in wars among tribes that lasted for generations. No other nation could come at par with them in gambling and consuming liquor. Their poetry was nothing but praise of wine and the consequent obscene activities. They were beasts in human form due to their obsession with usury, plunder, cold-bloodedness, shedding blood, fornication, and other dirty acts. They used to bury their daughters alive. Exposure was so common that naked men and women used to make rounds of Kaaba in the name of religion. In short, Arabs had touched the bottom of the mire of sins. They had submerged their religion, morality, social values, politics, and they're all in this mire.